You can start whenever you're ready.
Okay. I am a mom of two handsome sons. and that's pretty much my life. But before I leave this earth, I will leave a legacy for my family.
Wait until tomorrow. This was beautifully shot documentary. I thought the archival footage was a great touch as well because it really sets up the time and allows us to really reflect on the circumstances. And this is a broader discussion of generational wealth and how Black families, had to kind of begin from behind. You're looking at Black population, 13.4% of the population, but only 1.5% of the wealth. And this doc really does define exactly how that comes to be, the inability to invest in the levels that you would need to see economic benefits. And, I liked how it highlighted various Black people in various jobs and positions and, allowed them to tell their like interpersonal stories. And it shows, the focus is on the disparities that start with the upbringing, whether it's schooling, lack of funding with the schools, equate to this lack of opportunity to gain economic footing. Certain jurisdiction aspects like redlining, white flight, all meant to create this idea of economic disparity in housing. This doc touches on everything: schooling, health, job opportunities, the idea of just overall Black people being two times worse than whites. Because of the disparities in depths, because of the lower paying jobs, 43% of Black people are making less than 30,000 a year, and everything ties into like another. So it's like one thing after another that all adds to it. I thought this was so informative. These are things I knew, but it's nice to leave this doc feeling like you're informed to have a conversation about it as someone who knows the statistics. And, it's all about how do we tackle this idea of building this generational wealth. And, but it also dives into the reasons behind the disparity. And it calls into question, how do we close this divide? And a point that was really made was the fact that a lot of people will look at some people in various forms of success and look at it as, well, look at what they've been able to do, and clearly they're doing better with everything that they had. But overall, if we're looking at the numbers overall and the statistics overall, it is a very slow moving train to get us to a level of equality, and it is still a long road ahead.
Wait until tomorrow. The cinematography on this was spectacular. I mean, the use of past footage was really, really impactful. And I loved what the filmmakers did of how they mixed black and white and color, and they did it so artfully and so clever to where it was almost seamless, some of those transitions. Like, it doesn't stick out to where you notice it. You're like, oh, wait, because it just gives the film a depth to the documentary. The interviews were fantastic, many of which were incredibly eye-opening to hear some of the experiences and the injustice of what's going on. It was educational, definitely, to listen to this and to hear the validity of what everybody explained and what their experiences were and what they're having to do. Statistics are just, they're staggering. And I really think that this is such a powerful and impactful film, and it's desperately, desperately needed. I'm so glad that y'all made this. Thank you.
I really liked Wait Until Tomorrow. That really spoke to me. Like, I think what I really liked was like, I think the whole point, I think being like, okay, we need to educate, like when he said at the very end about Black people haven't really made the tangible, like financial and like socioeconomic gains that it may appear on the surface if you're not really looking. The data doesn't support that we've made as much gains as we think. And I think, and the idea that people don't know that hinders progress. I think that nail on the head right there. Like I think that was something revelatory to me, who knows the history, at least a little bit, knows the history, redlining, blah blah blah, all of that. Like that's something that was new that I think was powerful. Also, I thought it was really well produced, really like really good cinematography, really good interviews, like emotional, like to be able to pull that out of people. Somebody who's made documentaries is not easy. To get people to go to those emotional places, darker places, happier places, authentically, is not easy. So that was cool. Also, the idea that like, okay, like businesses, like yeah, all the stats, we know all the stats, 43%, blah 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 blah. But tying it to okay, this specific sector about like how does that affect Black entrepreneurship and Black businesses and all of that? I think that was really good, and that was a new angle that we know on that, or that at least me personally haven't really seen much talked about. Um, when we talk about Black issues and social and economic status in America and all of that. So I think this is up there with like 13th and like Ava and them. This could I think this could be like picked up by proximity with Ryan Coogler and them. Like, it's really good, yo. I think this is really good, and I think more people should see it because, like he said, like I think when you really dive into the numbers, maybe we haven't made as much progress as we think we have, and people don't know that, and that but the idea that people don't know that holds progress back. I think that's a great reason to push this to more people. So, great job.